My name is Alex Coburn. I'm an anthropologist, safari guide, and wilderness explorer. With a habit for getting into some unusual situations.
Fashion bar, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
I've never been more uncomfortable in my life.
I wish I was somewhere warm.
Fueled by a passion for wildlife, I search the world for conservation solutions.
Because if you don't believe in climate change,
Best of luck to you.
It smells earthy and grassy.
And on this adventure, you're part of the team too.
I'm not even gonna finish sure. I'm just gonna shove this in my mouth.
It's so green and lush.
Shabona Shivers?
What the hell is happening?
This is nuts!
So let's go save the world.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or evening, or wherever in the world you happen to be. Let me just make sure I've got everything on. There we go. I think my audio is working. Get rid of one of these earbuds. I don't actually need it. I just needed to hear the show so I know that something's working. Look at this. We've got deer walking through the yard. I can't turn the camera around because everything's all like duct taped and hardwired in, but what a great way to start. Grab some coffee or tea if it's afternoon, or a drink if it's the evening for you. Let's get serious about nature. So happy you guys could join us. It's been a little minute since we've done another stream, but things have been a little weird here in the land of, I guess, Misguided, we'll call it that. But we've got some good stuff coming up for all of you. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, first off, welcome. I just want to ask, please, wherever it is below me, hit that subscribe button. It's a lot more fun, I think, if everybody builds a sense of community and team, and it helps us understand more what you guys want to see if we have some measure of analytic for like what you're looking at or what content you like and what we're making that's honestly totally crap. So if you wouldn't mind, hit that button, subscribe to the channel so you'll stay up to date on all the latest information that we have. Today on this particular live stream we are getting into a new book, relatively new. It's been out for a few months now. Let me just pull up the cover here. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, it's going to appear next to me. Or at least that was the theory, and it totally didn't. Oh, that's because it's behind me. There it is. We'll go this way. Eat Meatless. There it is, right there. Eat Meatless, and I've got the live copy right here. Jane Goodall's new book from the Jane Goodall Institute. I'll be honest, when I picked this book up, I had no idea that it was a vegan cookbook. So we're going to get into that here in a minute. I see we've got some folks joining us on the show. Thank you all so much for spending any amount of time with us this morning or afternoon or evening. Again, doesn't matter. Greatly appreciated that you're choosing to spend your time in this wonderfully weird part of the world. We don't have Jeff with us today, unfortunately. He is busy. He's tied up with some other stuff. So I'm going to be trying to run the show, host the show, keep stuff moving, try to filter answering questions from you guys. So remember, it is supposed to be live and interactive. If you have questions at any point, throw them in the comment bar. I'm going to do my best to read through, make sure I can see them, and get you in, because the theory behind this is that you've got a cup of coffee, I have a cup of coffee. We can hang out and talk about conservation together. And in this case, again, we're going to be jumping into hashtag Eat Meatless by Jane Goodall and the Jane Goodall Institute. But first, as per usual on this particular program, we've got to check out what's going on in the news. But before we do that, I just wanted to cut over to, here we go, pull that up. Let's take a live look in Africa. So this is the Olifants River live right now, coming to you courtesy of Africam YouTube. It is just about sunset there, so we're going to bounce around here a few different parks. The Olifants River is one of the main rivers that goes right through the Kruger in eastern southern Africa. I just thought we'd take a peek, see if we can spot any of the wildlife. I can't quite get the audio to work right now, so don't worry about it. We'll figure that out for the next time. Let's see, can I... No, you can't see my mouse. Yeah, not a whole lot going on down there right now, unfortunately. Here, we're going to jump over to Tembe Elephant Park. Yep, looks pretty quiet there too. Jump over here to Tao. Looks like some birds maybe down there by the water. I have no control over the cameras. Oh, they've cut to probably a pre-recorded segment there. Not live, I apologize. We're just bouncing around. Here we go. We've got some birds. Looks like some ducks maybe at Rosie's Pan. And let's go to the Noetti Dam real quick. Take a peek what's going on there. Not a whole lot. And maybe we'll take a peek at Cat Eye. Oop, that's an ad. Never mind. Don't want that in the show. There you go. We'll finish at Qua Maritan. Excellent. Well, at any rate, cut back to what we were doing here. Perfect. And, sorry, usually we've got Jeff for this stuff. Bam, there we go. Okay, let's take a peek at the news. If I can pull up that channel there. Nope, not that one. Get rid of this one for 2 seconds. We can get rid of that Africam now. There we go. Sorry, a little bit of a delay this morning. We're trying out a morning show for the first time, and I think it's proving that we do better in the afternoons. Sri Lanka seeks peace with pachyderms as human-elephant conflicts escalate. This is, switch back to me for a second. Boy, I wish I had Jeff here. He's much handier at this stuff than I am. Human-wildlife conflict, I think, has kind of become just the impromptu theme of the show across the board. And it's really kind of part of the reality I wanted to get into today with hashtag Eat Meatless. As the human population grows, of course, the boundary between where we live and where wildlife lives is thinning, and that's creating a significant issue because you have to get into the nitty-gritty of industrial life, city life, agricultural life, agrarian life, and consider traditionally we haven't done very well bridging those gaps between, pull this up here, sorry, there we go, just trying to pull that up. Bridging those gaps between creating kind of a space for both. A recent example, we're broadcasting right now from Sonoma, California, and in the news the last week or two we've had a mountain lion in a city just to the south of us, and people have completely lost their mind. I think it's really funny and really ridiculous because this area is rural. It's agricultural. It's got a few kind of more industrialized areas, but it's by and large agricultural. We're the North Bay area, north of San Francisco, and people have lost their mind over there being a mountain lion out here, which is totally to be expected. Ironically enough, this cat was moving right along the boundary of a park and a suburban area that had kind of infringed upon semi-rural area. I don't really know what people want to expect there. I mean, it's very expected to see a mountain lion in that particular part of the world. But it'd be another if this lion was starting to eat livestock. Then a farmer might be getting into a position where they feel threatened by the animal. They might be upset with the animal, and then they file a depredation permit because they want to take the animal down and protect their livelihood. So if you translate that, let's go back to Manga Bay here. If you translate that to cases like Sri Lanka, where we're looking at pachyderms as human-elephant conflict escalate, now we're talking about whole fields of crops being eaten and raided by elephant herds or elephants moving through rural towns, and that can be a potentially hazardous situation. Again, here we have tiger habitat threatened by Malaysian royals mining plans. Again, we're looking at basically monetary interests conflicting with habitat. There's a whole theory about saving a half Earth, so literally creating half the world as a wild space. Yes, as we go down these headlines here, I mean, that really kind of just time and time again becomes the dominant theme, that we need to figure out a way to better make space for both people and wildlife, even down to like kind of the pseudo theme of the show. Since we're broadcasting in the morning, we've got coffee. Like, this is a product too that I think relates to the book we're going to talk about today, and these headlines here being that coffee only grows in a very specific part of the world, and the demand for coffee is growing exponentially. So as more people demand this product, we're putting more pressure on those habitats, and that's where wildlife begins to suffer. So I think really the theme of today's show is we're trying to talk about economics, which I'm not an economist, so this is going to get a little weird. We're going to have Rachel on here in a minute. It's not going to be just be me babbling the whole time. But we're looking at a supply and demand ratio. We're looking at, as more people want a westernized lifestyle, the amount of resources it would take to supply that probably isn't sustainable. And I think hashtag Eat Meatless certainly covers this in kind of a nice way. But first, let me just take a peek at the comments. There we go. Not a whole lot going on. Perfect. One less thing to manage. In case you don't know who Jane Goodall is, is she not popping up? Oh, that's because this is here. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. There you go. There's Jane Goodall and one of the chimpanzees that she's worked with. Jane Goodall, of course, became famous in the 1960s when she was, or late 50s, early 60s, when she was sent out on research trips in Eastern Africa, in Tanzania, to study chimpanzees. And when Jane first did her research, chimps were pretty well not understood. People had seen them in the zoo. If you had been to the London Zoo in the 40s, and well, maybe not the 40s, but the 50s, they had a whole program called the Monkey Tea Party, where they dressed up chimpanzees like people and had them drink tea and eat biscuits. And that was just entertainment. That's what you did on a Sunday morning, is you went down to the zoo and watched chimps dress like people and drink tea. But no one had ever seriously studied them in the wild. No one had studied gorillas or orangutans in the wild until Louis Leakey said, we need to address this, and we need to address it with women. His theory was that potentially research of especially wildlife might be better suited for women, because he thought there was maybe more give and take with how they might perceive what was going on. He wanted to try to eliminate the kind of dogmatic, we're going to look at this stone and cold kind of objectively, animals don't have any personality kind of view. He wanted to see if they could switch that, and of course they did. And Jane is probably the best example, the first person to really say animals have personality and it's worth studying them with more of a soft science approach. So she worked in Gombe National Park with the chimps. This is not a Gombe National Park, but it's a chimp, same premise. Later on, she met her husband, pull him up there, Hugo. Hugo was a photographer. He was sent. He took all the photos for National Geographic that made Jane famous around the world, whether she liked it or not. But his whole deal was photographing wild animals and filming wild animals on the Masai Mara and the Serengeti in East Africa. Let's see. I thought I had another image here pulled up. I guess not. No, I guess not. Well, at any rate, we're going to get into this book here. We're going to take a quick turnaround so I can reset some of the cameras. I was just checking to see if any of you guys had questions. Maybe not yet. We're going to pull Rachel out. We're going to get into this book and talk about the Goodall Institute kind of push toward sustainable living, which this book covers quite well, and thinking about habitat loss and depredation permits, and kind of trying to put all these things together, because that's what hashtag Eat Meatless is all about. So we'll be back here in just a moment. All right, pull the audio back on. I think we're all good to go. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. We haven't seen each other all morning, have we?
Oh, no.
No? It's
No.
only like we live together. How's the coffee?
It is good.
Have you dumped an exorbitant amount of creamer in there?
Maybe.
What is a good
Maybe
cup of
not.
coffee to Rachel?
You can taste the coffee just a little bit.
Just a little.
And a nice amount of vanilla.
Well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
So I like that the title says hashtag Eat Meatless. There's a space between meat and less, as opposed to eat meatless. Yeah, exactly. That was the first thing that caught my eye with this particular book. I'm going to cover us up here. Whoops. cover Rachel
That's
at least.
okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
going to cover you with hashtag. Oh, yeah, if you just
No.
come this way. Hashtag eat meatless. I brought this book home and I was pretty excited about it, wasn't I?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell the people.
We're very excited. And
All of the exciting.
all of the excitement. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite a day.
But what did we not realize about this?
That it was a vegan cookbook.
Yeah, we had no idea. We had no idea that this was a vegan cookbook, which I guess we should have just assumed. Pull that title up one more time so you can all see it. Yeah, doesn't it say it right here somewhere on the cover? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't say vegan.
Okay, it doesn't say.
It says plant-based.
Plant-based. Okay. Which was confusing. I guess had I cracked it open at all in the store, I might have realized what it was. But that's our first thing here. Our first stop. We didn't realize it was a vegan book. Not that that's bad. It just we're not vegan. So let's talk about diet for a second. Let's talk about what would a typical day's worth of meals look like for us. You get up and at dark 100 it's oatmeal.
Yes.
Which
Coffee, oatmeal.
oats are pretty sustainable. They require very little water. They require lots of space. That might be one thing. But so you're starting your day off well.
Yeah.
I usually don't eat breakfast.
Yeah. Usually have coffee, except for on the weekends. You have breakfast.
Yeah, maybe some eggs.
Yeah. And then what do I have next? Or
Yeah,
what do
let's go through our day. So you start with oatmeal. I start with just bitter, angry black coffee. And then we get to lunchtime, and then you're like, I'll have one nut.
No, I have a piece of fruit and like some sort of granola bar or something like that.
Piece of fruit and granola bar. Any particular flavor?
Nah.
Nah.
Whatever looks good in the grocery store.
Good enough.
Usually one with things in it. I don't
One
know.
with the things that's very specific.
Yes, exactly.
And then by about dinner time, that's really our one larger meal of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say
Exactly.
most people, by and large, probably aren't like that. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people probably have more for breakfast, a little bit more for lunch.
Yeah.
And then probably it's just a large, substantial dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know though. I don't ever talk to people.
I
No,
mean,
I do.
Where I work, people usually eat like a lunch, like a good sized lunch.
Big
Or
heavy sandwich, like a meatball sub, every day.
not necessarily that, but like, some people have like salad or, the other day somebody had a bowl of poke,
Is it
Also-
poke or pokey?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I think by and large most people are probably eating more. We're just odd, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we're normal. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Hashtag eat meatless, I think, first challenges you to understand what you're eating, how much you're eating, and ultimately the impact your food has on the environment. So let's pull up, as an example, cauliflower pumpkin seed tacos. So I'm going to see if I can pull that up real quick. I should have flagged it, but didn't have that much time this morning. It'd be a main cauliflower pumpkin seed tacos. Here we go, page 116. So if you want to try it, I'm going to leave that recipe up here for just a few minutes. I always look at the ingredients first. I look at the picture first off. I mean, that looks amazing. And then I look at the actual ingredients. We have raw pumpkin seeds or pepitas, cauliflower florets, Roma tomatoes, jalapenos, garlic, olive oil, dried sage, chipotle powder, tamari, which must be a spice, sea salt, corn tortilla, ripe avocado, juice of half a lime, and hot sauce for serving, which is, obviously optional. Different take on a taco. Most people, I would say, would put chicken or beef or ground beef maybe. And I think therein lies maybe the first kind of talking point, which is beef itself. Beef, it's no secret, is pretty hard on the environment.
Yeah.
Should we try to do a live look at Harris Beef Ranch?
Oh, it's always sad when you drive past that place.
Yeah, if you've ever
See the
driven through
cows.
California and go on I-5 down south, you go past Harris Beef Ranch, where it's a large beef provider. It's just fields of dirt and cattle, which is such a sad image.
Talk about stank. It's real stanky too.
It's stanky. Sounds like the image was a little bit blurry. I'm sorry, I don't know. That must be something in our settings. We'll have to adjust for a future episode. But if you want any of these recipes, I can post them online later. Or buy the book. Maybe better yet.
Yeah, definitely.
At any rate, beef is a heavy hitter. I looked this up before the show. A pound of beef, it requires about 1,700 gallons of water to produce. And the
Wow.
West this year in the United States has been just plagued by drought, which
Yeah.
you almost wouldn't tell today here where we are. So, I mean, we're both huddled up here in coats.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, it's like 101 in most areas,
Yeah.
110. Water is an issue this particular season, and beef. I think this gets into a supply and demand thing. Now, when we eat meat, what do we try to do?
Like, what do you mean? What do we try to do?
Well, are we buying the Harris Ranch beef?
Oh, no. We try to get local meats.
Local meats.
I don't know. And we try to avoid eating beef too much. Once in a while, we'll have a good steak, but usually we buy it from a local meat place that,
So I'm
gets-
just checking the stream. It doesn't look that bad. It's a little slow, but we'll figure that out later. Yeah, no, we try really hard. I think my first impression on reading #EatMeatless is that the what they're proposing that we do, which is eat a cleaner diet,
Yeah.
better for the planet. It says here in the title, good for animals, the earth, and all. There's nothing wrong with that, but the big challenge is it doesn't address probably the root issue of diet, which is that we've outsourced
Yeah.
most of our diet.
Yeah.
We're lucky in a state like California, in an area like this, because we have so
Yeah.
much available resource for food, really at any given point.
Yeah.
But imagine if you lived on an island like Hawaii. Let's go with Hawaii.
Yeah.
The volume of tourists visiting Hawaii who all want teriyaki beef skewers
Yeah. Or, seafood.
or seafood, that in lies the
Yeah.
issue. I think the demand, again, it's an economic
Yeah.
discussion, right?
Yeah.
I don't inherently see anything wrong with eating beef. I mean, you can go down the ethics route of animal rights and that whole thing. That's a different
Yeah.
discussion, I think, from
Yeah.
what we're trying to have. But there's nothing wrong in theory with beef. It's the volume and demand.
Yeah.
Because if you live in a Western country, the reality is, like right now, we could end the show, get in the car, drive to any store,
Yeah.
and get as much beef as we could buy.
We go to Costco today and
We could go to
fill
Costco
up our
and
car
get
with
like a
beef.
whole cow. That's the issue, that any one of us in a Western society really have the ability at any given point, in theory, to go purchase as much oats for breakfast as you want, as much beef as you want, as much coffee as you want. And I think
Yeah.
we've lost sight of where the food comes from,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, physically, not only like meat comes from cows, I'm talking like how far away is it coming from?
Yeah, I mean, and that really matters. I mean, because not only is it, it takes a lot to ship it, too. A lot of gas just from one area to the next as well. So, I mean,
Yeah, no, it totally does. I apologize if the image is a little blurry, but here's kind of related to it. I wanted to hit up another one. Let's see if I can make it any better. This is carrot, olive, and almond salad, which sounds amazing. We haven't tried this recipe yet here. I'm going to try to just, come on. There you go.
that looks good.
Hopefully that's a little bit better. Carrot, olive, and almond salad. Slide this image over so we can see the actual dish. Bam, there you go. Now, it looks beautiful. I'm sure it tastes great, very healthy. But almonds, for example, the majority of almonds grown throughout the world come from California. And since we're moving in real time, let's just quickly search how much water
Yeah, doesn't it take a lot of water?
does it take to produce almonds? 1.1 gallon for every individual almond.
Wow. That's crazy.
So to make a pound of almonds takes about 1,900 gallons of water.
Jeez.
So effectively, it's the same as beef, for sake of discussion. That's crazy.
The one thing is, though, I guess you wouldn't use as much almonds, or maybe you would use more. I don't know. I was trying to think in comparison to meat.
Sure.
Like, wouldn't you not use as many?
I guess you
make
wouldn't.
that dish.
Yeah.
And
So
amount of meat.
that has to factor in.
Yeah.
But again, I think it goes back to where are you? You know,
It's true.
let's just go with the United States as our model. If you're in Kansas, I mean, as great as it is that you want to eat almonds and maybe eat sustainably,
Yeah.
I don't offhand know of any almond producers in Kansas. And if you are an almond producer in Kansas, write into the show, comment, let us know. I'm thinking about maple syrup. Maple trees don't grow here in California. It's a little weird to me that, you know, that would be a regular part of our diet when we don't have the ability to grow that produce here. Were the avocados weren't in that one. They were in the tacos,
Yeah.
right? Avocados, I didn't realize this till somebody on Clubhouse recently cued me into it. Avocados are another crop that just sucks up water. I did some reading before the show. They require 40 to 55 inches of rain a year
Wow.
as a tree to be healthy and productive and sustainable. Now, there's
Yeah.
obviously different varietals and that kind of thing, but that's
a lot.
when we were in Hawaii, we saw just avocados everywhere.
Yeah, we did.
And that's because they get a lot of rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it goes back to where are you, and how much, you know, what is your demand
Yeah.
like? So I think a better way to look at maybe this in general and your diet in general, I don't know if it matters, and I'd be curious to hear what you think. If you want to be vegetarian, vegan,
Yeah.
beefivore, whatever,
Yeah.
as long as you're thinking about where you are.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. I mean, like you're saying about the avocados in Hawaii, they're not having to spend or, you know, use water that may be very important to, you know, like in California, if we used a bunch of water to grow an avocado, it's going to affect us more than, you know, say somebody in Hawaii who's growing avocados, you know, it's not going to affect them as much, like environmentally.
Right.
You know, so yeah, no, that makes complete sense. I mean, if you go local and buy produce that's in season and
That's
you know
key.
grown locally, then you're not using up the resources you would by, say, getting. I'm trying to think of something like squash, summer squash in the winter. You know, that's grown somewhere, you know, else.
Yeah. Let's jump to, on that thought, their recipe for strawberry cheesecake. So I'll just leave the recipe card up for a minute. If you're watching this, I guess, after the live, just pause it here. Or better yet, just, you know, look up the book itself and you'll be able to find the recipe. They use cheese in quotations there because there's, I don't think, any dairy because it's vegan. So I'm going to jump now. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2. There's the actual product next to a tea kettle. Boy, now the coffee's
Cheesecake and
kicking in. Now I
tea.
feel my brain coming online. For all intent and purpose, that looks delicious. But if you were serving this in the wintertime,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little awkward.
it is. You don't usually grow strawberries in the wintertime.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm really trying to get at is that I thought this book was, you know, we've read through parts of it together.
Yeah,
I thought, by and large, it had great messaging. It
Yeah.
encouraged healthy behavior.
exactly.
And it brings up a good point. A diet that consists of less meat, but not necessarily no meat, even though this book is vegan, is probably better for the planet. But what I didn't feel this book addressed very well is how far does your diet go?
Yeah,
And that's been, I think, for us, at least in the last year,
yeah.
something we've really tried to incorporate. Does your diet consist of a 50-mile radius around you? Does it consist of a 200-mile radius around you? Or is it a 10,000-mile radius around you?
Yeah,
You know, we're trying to be more mindful of that because it matters. Eating things
Yeah.
like you just said, in season.
yeah, exactly. In season, local, you know, you're having to use less resources than you would if you
Yeah.
got shipped from somewhere else and it was out of season, and yeah.
Plus, I think it's so much more exciting to know, like my favorite summer plant to eat are peaches. It's so much fun to know where that peach physically came from, like literally know the farm that it was grown on. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily need to go talk to the farmer, but like just to be able to drive by and be like, hey, that guy grows great peaches.
Yeah,
As opposed to when you're in the store, I guess, in the middle of winter and you just get all these peaches from, you know,
Yeah,
it removes part of it. And
it does. And you kind of forget for a minute that, hey, this took time to grow. This took water. This took, time and,
Yeah.
yeah.
It took time, is what
It
you're trying to
took
say.
time and it took resources. I mean, it makes products faceless.
It does,
In
yeah.
a grocery store. I mean, it's not bad to buy things in a grocery
No,
store
not-
if you know where it's coming from.
Right, and I think to kind of hit back on the main theme that we started with in regard to this book, this is by and large aimed at Western readers, of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, we have the choice of going to a grocery
We
store
do.
and not, struggling to find things.
Because in rural parts of the world, meat is a luxury. The ability to have meat, it's often tied into celebrations and
Yeah.
festivals and the happy parts of life. Food is, food, we could do episode after episode on food. And Travel Channel has certainly done that. But food is so tied into people, and time and time again, you see especially meat used in these celebrations.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, people eating a more plant-based diet. I'm not a dietitian. I can't talk about the health benefits of that, but I
Yeah.
can say that, again, it's just weird that here in the Western world, any one of us can get up, get in our car, go to a store, and what we looked this up the other day. The average grocery store in the United States has 46,000 items. I'm not talking like banana. I'm talking like bananas, pineapples, hams, whipping cream. 46,000 individual categorized items
Yeah.
at the grocery store. That is insane.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
You go into a store and you have the option of 46,000 items at any time of year, 365 days a year,
Yeah.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, it kind of blows your mind.
That's
That's a
nuts.
lot. That's a big number.
So is it an issue that we're eating meat? I mean, ethically, that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Or is it an issue that the available quantity
Yeah.
of these products? I mean, I think that's where this really lays.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
I'm curious what all of you out there think.
yeah.
Are you? I'm curious what the people behind the lens think.
Yeah.
Given that it's all blurry and everything. If you're watching this after even, throw in a comment. We're really curious. I'm sure we've struck a few chords. I'm sure maybe I've struck a few chords. A little bit more grinding. Now the coffee's kicking in. We're feeling great. I had none prior to the show, which was a mistake. I'm sure we've struck a chord with someone somewhere. So even if you hated everything we said, then please let us know. I'm desperately curious. The goal is to create community and conversation around big topics in conservation. All in all, I would say get this book, read this book,
Yeah.
modify the recipes. That's what we did.
Yeah, definitely. We had to modify a couple of things, but otherwise,
Yeah.
turned out good.
Yeah, because again, it's a vegan cookbook. You know, if you're vegan, great. If you're vegetarian, great. If you're a beefivore, whatever. I really encourage eat as local as you physically possibly can. So we adopted some of the recipes with ingredients that we could find around here, because we're not vegan exclusively. We're trying to eat a little bit more vegetarian now.
Yeah.
But by and large, this book is good. If I were to rate it, I would say on a scale of 4 mangoes to several papayas, this is 2 porcupines and a pickle.
I would agree with that statement.
It's a good book. It's worth a look. You can find some of the recipes for free online if you go to Amazon.com, search #EatMeatless. That's where these few images came from here. I'll just pull up again. We've got our strawberry cheesecake. We've got cauliflower pumpkin seed tacos. Here, I'm going to slide this. Not that one. Carrot, olive, almond salad. There you go. Pull that guy up. And then I don't think we hit this one. Or maybe we did. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Sweet
Oh,
potato
yeah.
with yogurt. But this book has quite a lot of content in it. I'm just going to quickly flip to the front. I mean, I know this is probably going to be small and blurry, but we're looking at 161 pages of content here with everything from breakfast. We've got like tofu scramble wraps with spinach and spiced sunflower seed. They go to soups. I mean, every kind of soup you could ever imagine here, from Thai corn and tofu soup with cilantro to celery root bisque. Sides and salads, we've got things like strawberry, asparagus, and Bibb lettuce salad with white bean. Down to, again, the carrot, olive, and almond salad, fresh vegetable spring roll. Mains, we've got quite a few. Like this one, I'm curious, maybe we'll try this tonight. The lemongrass tofu banh mi. I'm a big fan of banh mi. I think that's an excellent dish. Even though it's entrenched in colonialism, it's delicious. Black bean and avocado sopes. That's been our favorite because it's easy.
Yeah.
And then they've got desserts and basics. I mean, just everything you can imagine. But again, I'd really consider local and time of year. Like looking at this sides and salads here, the strawberry, asparagus, and Bibb lettuce salad. Asparagus is a spring crop. You know, if it's October and you're making that, it's just the ethics don't quite match up. And that's my one big critique. I don't feel the book really addressed that point of local in the season. Other than that, it encourages wonderful behavior and a great diet.
Yeah, definitely.
Stellar's Jay being quite annoying back there. Anything to add
He
to the
agrees.
people? He agrees, yes.
He agrees.
Birds eat local.
Yes, they do. Well, I mean, yeah, I thought it was fun trying like the recipes that we have, and I'm looking forward to trying more. And I agree, we should look for at least recipes in there that are seasonal recipes, and that we can get local vegetables, fruit, or whatever needed.
Let me run through the comments here. Yes, we have tried several recipes. Again, the black bean and avocado sopes was our sopes. I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. They were our favorite because they're really easy. It's, you know, corn tortilla basically, sopes with the beans and just kind of avocado. Super easy to throw together.
We just had to adjust the tortilla recipe a little bit. Remember?
Yeah. But they were filling.
But they were good.
I mean, considering they're quite small, they're very filling.
Yeah. They were. The beans were delicious. And it was fun because I got to mash beans.
Oh, beef tartare. So, have you ever had beef tartare?
No.
It's terrible. I had beef tartare at an Ethiopian restaurant.
Oh, yeah, and you got sick. I remember.
Yeah. And nothing against the restaurant, but
No.
just, it's weird. Beef tartare, it's just like raw beef mixed with spices and eggs and stuff. It's
Yeah. I don't even like my meat really that rare.
You want it well done.
No, that is an absolute lie. I do not like it well
with
done.
ketchup.
Ew. He is a liar.
No,
That's not
no.
true.
Beef tartare, though, not good. Don't eat it. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
But if you do, make sure the cow lived down the street.
I mean, I'd try it. I would never say no. Trying something.
We're adventurous eaters. Yeah.
We try to be adventurous. Why not? You only live once. Maybe.
Well, hopefully. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's our review. What did I say it was? 2 porcupines and a pickle?
I think so.
We'll add several pickles into there. Check out hashtag Eat Meat Lists. It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, I guess anywhere people sell good books.
Yeah.
So you can find this. Worth a read. Jane has a wonderful foreword, and she has thoughts and notes as you go through different recipes. Again, one big critique, they don't really encourage local and seasonal diet. Ironically, I want to coin the phrase chimpanzee diet. You know, there's like the Atkins diet, the paleo diet. I want to coin the chimpanzee diet.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this, right?
I think so.
Because humans and chimps share so much genetic material. What is it, like 98.6% genetically similar? Chimps roam about the jungle. They eat things that are seasonal.
Yeah.
They mostly eat plants and fruits that are ripe and in season, but they do eat some meat. They eat birds.
Yeah.
They eat monkeys. Heck, they'd probably even try to eat another chimp if they got crazy enough. I think it makes the most sense. If you look at our dentition, it's generalized like a chimpanzee. We've got incisors and canines and molars. We're good at eating a lot of different things. That's what separates us from our past ancestors within our genome. You know, we surpassed all the former ones because they had teeth that were too specific for different diets. We humans, on the other hand, and probably to a certain extent, the Denisovans and the Neanderthals were like, nah, let's go with this generalized thing. That probably works better. So I encourage that today.
Yeah.
Any final wrap-up thoughts, Rachel?
Nothing. No, just I like what you were saying, the chimpanzee diet, and just being opportunistic and eating what's around. I mean, you know.
How about we go to the farmer's market after this? It's Sunday.
That sounds good. I like
Let's
that
go get
idea.
some kale
Ooh.
and some squash.
Yeah.
And peaches. It's summertime after all.
Peaches. Don't forget the peaches.
No. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, if this is not live, if you're watching this on YouTube later, congrats to you for making it all the way through. We had a
Good
rough
job.
beginning there because I didn't have enough caffeine and I just was kind of struggling to get the gears running. But I think once we got going here, not bad. We'll have Jeff back with us probably for the next episode. Coming up, we've got several amazing interviews with different people from around the nature world. And we're going to be trying to do a live broadcast from the California Academy of Science coming up here probably by the end of the summer, which should be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, a lot more coming up. Check out the rest of our stuff, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you have, thank you. It means more than we could ever say. Helps keeps us going and show us that somebody out there maybe actually kind of likes what we're doing, and we're just doing this mostly because we're having fun. But knowing someone else enjoys it really helps out.
Yeah.
Anyway, have a beautiful Sunday.